The wind screamed over the endless white land of Antarctica. Snowflakes danced like tiny knives under the pale sun. Deep beneath the ice, far below the frozen wasteland, a hidden research base hummed softly, a place no one knew existed except a handful of scientists. Dr. Ethan Cole stood inside the cold, metal chamber, staring at a massive block of ice glowing with a strange blue light. His breath formed clouds as he whispered, "We finally found it." After 5 years of drilling, sensors had found something unusual buried 70 meters below. The ice around it was harder than steel, and inside it lay something shaped like a human. But it wasn't human, not completely. Beside him, Dr. Maria Hale adjusted her glasses, eyes wide. "Ethan, look at the readings," she said. No decay, no sign of death. The temperature inside the ice hasn't changed in centuries. Whatever it is, it's still alive. The team of 6 scientists stood silent. The only sound came from the humming machines and the soft thump of a heart monitor. The shape inside the ice was a woman, tall, elegant, and wrapped in a silver cloth that shimmered faintly under the lights. Her face was calm, peaceful, as if she was sleeping. Ethan felt a chill crawl up his spine. "She looks human," he said softly. Maria shook her head. "No human glows like that." The others began setting up scanners, recording every angle of the strange figure. As they worked, the power flickered for a moment and the lights dimmed. The air seemed to grow heavier. A low humming sound echoed through the ice, almost like a heartbeat. "Did anyone hear that?" one of the scientists asked. Ethan frowned. "It's probably the generator." But deep down, he wasn't sure. He walked closer to the ice and placed his gloved hand against the surface. The moment he touched it, a whisper brushed against his mind. It wasn't a sound, it was a voice, soft and trembling. "Please, don't take the cloth off." Ethan froze. He looked around quickly. Who said that? Everyone stared at him, confused. "Said what?" Maria asked. "The voice," Ethan said. Someone just spoke, but no one had heard anything. Only Ethan. The whisper still echoed faintly in his head, gentle yet filled with fear. "Don't take the cloth off." Ethan stepped back, his heart racing. He tried to laugh it off. "Maybe I'm just tired," he said. But the voice didn't sound like a dream. It felt real, alive. An hour later, the team began melting the ice carefully using a slow heat laser. Steam filled the chamber, and the shape inside became clearer. The silver cloth looked ancient but untouched by time. Strange markings ran across it, symbols no one could read. Maria warned, "Ethan, maybe we should stop. The energy field around her is unstable." He hesitated. He wanted to be careful, but curiosity pulled at him like a magnet. They had found something from another world, something no one had ever seen. He couldn't stop now. Finally, the last layer of ice fell away, revealing the woman completely. She was beautiful but strange, skin pale with a faint glow, hair like liquid silver. The cloth covered her from neck to feet. Beneath it, faint blue light pulsed from her body in rhythm with a heartbeat. "Unbelievable," Ethan whispered. "She's perfect. Like she was made, not born." The machine started beeping wildly. Energy readings spiked. The room's temperature dropped instantly. Frost crept across the walls. "Ethan," Maria shouted. "We need to leave." But Ethan couldn't move. His eyes locked on the woman. He reached out slowly. The voice returned, louder this time. "Don't take it off, please." "Don't." He stopped, trembling. The plea sounded desperate, almost human, but with something ancient behind it. He looked at his team. "Did you hear it now?" Everyone shook their heads. Only silence filled the room. Ethan swallowed hard. He felt as if invisible hands were holding his shoulders, trying to stop him. But science demanded truth. He told himself he couldn't be afraid of a dream. He reached for the edge of the cloth. Maria grabbed his arm. "Ethan, don't! We don't know what it is." He pulled away. "We need to know." And then, he lifted the silver cloth. The lights flickered violently. Every machine in the room screamed as energy burst out like a wave. The air grew thick and the smell of ozone filled the chamber. Ethan stumbled back as the woman's eyes snapped open. 2 glowing silver suns staring straight at him. The whisper in his mind became a scream. "You should not have done that." Every screen shattered. The glass exploded outward. The temperature dropped so low the air froze mid-breath. Ethan's body stiffened, his limbs numb. He couldn't move. The woman sat up slowly, the silver cloth falling from her shoulders. The markings on her skin glowed brighter, lighting the whole chamber with soft white fire. She looked at Ethan, not with anger but with deep sadness, and then everything went dark. The world was quiet. Too quiet. Ethan opened his eyes slowly, his body stiff like ice. For a moment, he thought he was still dreaming. The chamber lights were dim, flickering weakly. The air was heavy and cold, and his breath came out as white mist. The first thing he noticed was silence. No voices, no hum of machines, just silence so deep it rang in his ears. Then he saw the others. Maria was lying near the control panel, motionless but breathing. The rest of the team lay scattered around the room, unconscious but alive. The machines were dead, screens cracked and smoking. The ice around them was gone. Only one thing remained untouched, the metal capsule now split open like a shell. And in the middle of the room stood her, the woman. The one who had been wrapped in the silver cloth. She wasn't glowing anymore, but her skin shimmered faintly, as if small stars moved beneath it. Her long silver hair floated softly around her face, though there was no wind. Her eyes were open, deep, bright, and filled with something Ethan couldn't name: fear, sadness, loneliness. Ethan tried to speak, but his voice cracked. Who are you?" The woman tilted her head slightly, watching him. When she spoke, her lips didn't move. The voice echoed inside his mind, soft but clear. "You heard me before. You took the cloth off." Ethan froze. His throat went dry. The voice inside his mind was calm, gentle yet full of weight. It felt as if every word carried centuries of pain. "I didn't mean to hurt you," Ethan whispered. "We didn't know what you were." She looked down at her hands. For a moment, her skin shimmered with faint blue light. "I was not meant to be found," she said. "Not yet." Ethan struggled to stand. His legs shook. Around him, frost had covered the floor. Every breath felt heavy. "You said not to take the cloth off. Why?" The woman walked toward the capsule slowly. Her bare feet didn't make a sound. "That cloth was not to protect me. It was to protect you." Ethan frowned. "Protect us from what?" She turned to face him, her silver eyes reflecting his pale face. "From what comes when I awaken." As she spoke, a faint vibration filled the room. The air trembled and the lights flickered again. Ethan felt something move in the distance, something deep under the ground, like the earth itself was breathing. Maria groaned softly, waking up. She sat up and gasped when she saw the woman standing there. "Ethan, she's alive?" Ethan nodded slowly. "She's been alive all this time." The woman looked between them. "Alive, yes. Sleeping, yes. But now it is too late to go back," Maria whispered. "Who are you?" The woman closed her eyes. "My name is Saria." The name echoed through the room almost like a song. The walls seemed to hum for a second, responding to her voice. Ethan repeated it softly. "Saria," she nodded. "I come from a world far beyond your stars. A place where the skies burn silver and time moves differently. We fought a war, long ago. I came here to hide, to sleep until it was safe again." Ethan stepped closer, fascinated. "A war against who?" Her face darkened. "Against them. The harvesters." The word made the room feel colder. "They are not alive in the way you know," she continued. "They consume worlds. They follow energy, the kind that awakened when you touched my capsule." Ethan's heart pounded. "You mean they know you're awake now?" Saria's eyes glowed faintly. "Yes, they will come. They always come." Maria's voice trembled. "Then we're in danger." Saria looked down sadly. "Not just you, your world." For a long moment, no one spoke. The sound of dripping water filled the silence, the last bits of melted ice falling to the floor. Ethan took a deep breath. "Can you stop them?" She didn't answer. Instead, she walked toward a broken console. When her hand touched it, the machine came to life, glowing with blue light. Strange symbols appeared on the screen, moving, shifting, alive. Ethan stared. "You can control our technology?" "I can speak to energy," Saria said softly. "Your machines are simple echoes of what once was." Maria whispered. "What do you need from us?" Saria turned, her silver eyes glowing brighter. "You have already given me what I need. You freed me." Her voice softened. "Now you must run." Ethan stepped forward. "Run? From what?" The walls shook slightly, dust falling from the ceiling. A deep rumble came from above, like thunder under the ice. Saria looked up, her expression dark and distant. They heard the signal. Ethan's heart stopped. "What signal?" She looked at him with sad eyes. "The one you sent. When you took the cloth off, the lights died again. A cold wind blew through the cracks, and somewhere far above the frozen land, something huge moved beneath the stars. Snowstorms howled across the empty white fields above the base. The blizzard seemed normal, but hidden behind the noise of the wind, something else whispered, something not human. The storm carried a strange hum that reached into the sky like a living heartbeat. Far below, in the half-destroyed research chamber, Ethan and Maria tried to restart the power. Sparks jumped from broken wires, and the faint light of the backup generator made shadows dance on the walls. Saria stood in the center of the room, her eyes closed, one hand pressed against the glowing console. Her silver hair moved as if touched by invisible wind. Lines of blue light crawled along her arms, connecting her body to the machines. Ethan watched, still shaken. "What are you doing?" he asked carefully. Her voice came softly inside his head. "I am trying to slow the signal." "The signal?" Ethan repeated. She opened her eyes. They were bright, too bright. "When you took the cloth off, the seal was broken." The beacon inside the capsule woke up. "It sent a message into the void." Maria stepped forward. "To who?" Saria looked up toward the ceiling, as if seeing through the ice and sky above them. "To the ones who hunt light." A low rumble filled the room. The sound didn't come from the machines, it came from everywhere. The walls shook, snow and dust falling like rain. Ethan and Maria grabbed onto the table. "What's happening?" Ethan shouted. Saria's voice stayed calm. "They are listening." The sound faded after a moment, but the tension stayed. Ethan's heartbeat felt too loud in his ears. "You mean the harvesters?" "Rissa," she said. "They sleep in the dark between stars. They wait for the sound of life too strong to ignore. They will come for it. For me. For your world." Maria swallowed hard. "How long do we have?" Saria looked at the console, reading symbols only she could understand. "Hours, maybe less." Ethan stared at her, his mind racing. "Can we shut the signal off?" Her eyes softened. "No, it's not just a signal. It's alive. Once awakened, it grows until it is answered." Ethan turned to Maria. "We have to warn the surface team." Maria nodded and ran to the communicator, but when she tried to connect, only static answered.
"No signal," she said.
"Everything's dead up there." Saria spoke again, her voice distant. "They block your waves. They are already near." A chill spread through the air. The base lights flickered again, and this time the power didn't come back. The room fell into blue darkness, lit only by the glow from Saria's skin. Ethan stared at her, unable to look away. She didn't seem afraid. Instead, she looked sad, like someone watching a memory replay. "Were you running from them?" he asked quietly. Saria nodded slowly. "I once fought them. My people believed we could protect smaller worlds. But war changes everything. We destroyed much, including ourselves. In the end, I ran." Her voice cracked slightly, though her expression stayed calm. "I came here. Your planet was quiet, young, safe. I slept beneath your ice and hid my signal, wrapped in the cloth that could silence me, until you removed it." Ethan felt a deep ache in his chest. "You were trying to protect us," Saria smiled faintly. "You couldn't have known. Curiosity is the same in every species. It brings light. And fire." Suddenly the ground shook harder. Metal beams creaked. Maria screamed as a piece of ceiling crashed nearby. The base alarms flickered to life, flashing red. Ethan grabbed the emergency radio. "Control, do you read?" "This is Cole from Ice Station 9. We need evacuation." Only static answered, but underneath it there was something else. A whisper. Not human. A deep rhythmic pulse like the sound of wings beating underwater. Saria's expression darkened. "They are in orbit," Ethan froze. "Already?" "They travel faster than light," she said quietly. "They follow the path of the beacon. You must go to the surface." Maria grabbed her coat. "What about you?" Saria turned toward the shattered capsule. "I will stay. I can slow them, maybe hide you." Ethan shook his head. "No, you'll die." She looked at him with strange calm. "I have died before." Before Ethan could answer, a blinding flash filled the chamber. The consoles lit up with wild blue symbols. The ice walls began to crack as light poured through them. Saria stepped back, lifting her hand. "It's too late." Ethan shielded his eyes. "What's happening?" "They're scouts," she whispered. "They found the signal. They are marking Earth." Outside, far above the clouds, something massive stirred. Satellite cameras across the world captured it first, a ring of dark shapes forming near the moon. They moved like living shadows, hundreds of them, spreading outward in silent formation. In the frozen base, Ethan looked at Saria. Can we fight them? She met his eyes, her voice quiet but steady. If I remember who I truly am, maybe. Her body began to glow brighter, the lines on her skin pulsing with alien symbols. The machines around her hummed back to life as if obeying her will. Maria whispered, "She's not human." Ethan's voice trembled. "No, but maybe she's our only hope." Above them, the sky split open. Far above Earth, beyond the soft blue clouds, the darkness of space was no longer quiet. Dozens, no hundreds of shapes moved near the moon. They weren't ships made of metal. They looked alive. Massive creatures with shells of black crystal and glowing veins like burning lava. Their wings stretched like torn shadows feeding on light. Human satellites tried to capture their images, but the moment a camera focused on them, the signal died. Every radar, every telescope went blind. Only a few seconds of footage remained, enough for scientists to see the truth. Something was coming, something older than human life itself. And deep beneath the ice in the hidden base, Saria opened her eyes. The chamber was colder than ever, frost crawling up the walls. The lights barely flickered. Ethan and Maria stood near the exit, ready to escape, but Saria stayed still, standing beside the broken capsule. Blue light pulsed from her body, slow and steady like a sleeping heart. Ethan looked at her. "What are they doing up there?" Her voice was quiet but strong. "They are feeding, preparing. The harvesters always begin by eating the sky." Maria frowned, shivering. "Eating the sky?" Saria nodded. "They drain the upper atmosphere, take energy from the stars, from your planet's magnetic field. They will darken your world before they come down." Ethan clenched his jaw. "Then we have to stop them." Saria looked at him sadly. "You cannot stop them with bullets or fire. Your weapons will not hurt them. They came for me, for the light that hides in my body." Her words sent a heavy silence through the room. Ethan stepped closer. "Then let us help you fight them. Tell us what to do." Saria turned to face him fully. "If I fight, I will not stay as I am now. The more I awaken my power, the less human I become." Maria whispered, "You're already not human." Saria smiled faintly. "Perhaps. But while I slept, I dreamed as one. I watched your kind through your oceans of time. I learned your voices, your songs. I wanted to believe I could belong here." Ethan's chest tightened. He didn't know why, but her sadness hurt him. The ground shook again. A deep sound echoed through the metal walls like thunder underwater. The power panels flashed red. Ethan ran to the console. "They're breaking through the atmosphere." Saria closed her eyes. "The first wave." She lifted her hand. A circle of light appeared around her, spinning symbols rising like mist. The machines in the base began to hum again, even though they were long dead. The temperature rose. Maria watched in awe. "She's controlling the power grid." Ethan stared at the glowing lines across Saria's arms. "What are you doing?" Her voice echoed in his mind. "Connecting to the planet. I must shield your world before they enter." Suddenly, a bolt of light burst from her body and shot upward through the ice ceiling. The whole base trembled. Above the continent, a vast circle of blue light spread across the clouds like a giant pulse. Far in orbit, one of the black creatures screamed, a soundless vibration that shattered communication channels worldwide. But the blue wave pushed it back, burning its dark skin with pure energy. Maria gasped. "She's hurting them." Ethan looked up, eyes wide. "She's fighting them." But Saria's face showed pain. Her knees trembled as light poured out of her chest. "Too many," she whispered. Ethan rushed forward. "Stop, you'll kill yourself." She shook her head. "I cannot stop. If I fall, your planet burns." The ceiling cracked again, sending shards of ice falling like glass rain. Ethan covered her as debris fell. The air turned electric. Every hair on his body stood up. He could feel her energy inside his head, like 1,000 voices whispering in another language. He saw flashes in his mind, memories that weren't his. Worlds burning, stars falling, silver ships exploding in the dark, a young Saria standing among the ruins, the last of her kind. Then a voice cut through the visions, not hers, deep, inhuman. "You cannot hide, Light-bearer." Saria gasped and fell to her knees. Her glow dimmed. Ethan grabbed her arm. "Saria, what's happening?" She looked at him with fear for the first time. "They found me. They are calling my true name." Maria's eyes widened. Your true name? It binds me, she said. It was given to me by the council of my kind before they fell. If the harvesters speak it, they can reach me, even here. A tremor ripped through the floor. The walls buckled. Saria stood up slowly, her eyes now glowing white. I must leave this base before they break through. If I stay, you all die. Ethan grabbed her wrist. Then we're going with you. She looked at his hand. You would die in my storm, he didn't let go. Then we die together. For the first time, her expression softened. Something warm passed across her face, almost human affection. You remind me of someone I once failed to save, she whispered. Then she touched his forehead with two glowing fingers. Do not be afraid. Before he could speak, light swallowed everything. When the light faded, the base was empty. No bodies, no machines. Just silence, and high above Earth, among the burning stars, a silver glow streaked toward the enemy fleet like a falling angel. The world looked different from above. Ethan gasped for air as the cold wind struck his face. He was floating, no, falling through a storm of light. Around him he saw flashes of clouds and lightning, pieces of the broken Antarctic sky twisting like ribbons. His ears rang. His mind screamed. And then, everything stopped. He landed softly on solid ground. But this was no longer the frozen base. The sky above him burned silver, and the air shimmered like glass. There was no sound of wind, no snow, no cold, only stillness, heavy and bright. He turned slowly. Maria stood beside him, eyes wide, shaking. Where are we? She whispered. Before Ethan could answer, a voice echoed around them. Not loud, but everywhere at once. Between worlds. Between heartbeat and breath, Saria appeared from the light. Her body was no longer fragile or human-like. She was taller now, her hair flowing like silver fire, armor of light wrapped around her form, glowing with alien symbols that moved like living things. Her eyes burned brighter than stars. Ethan could barely speak. Saria, what are you? She looked at her hands, her expression both powerful and sad. What I was always meant to be. The guardian of the veil, the one who carries the last flame of my people. Maria stepped back, trembling. You said if you woke your power, you'd lose yourself. Saria nodded. And I already feel it slipping away. A pulse of light rippled through the strange space they stood in. In that flash, Ethan saw the truth. Not just a vision, but memories flowing into his mind like a river. He saw a city floating above golden oceans, towers of crystal, beings like Saria walking among them. They held stars in their palms, speaking in music instead of words. Then came the dark, a swarm of shadow creatures tearing through the sky, eating the light until nothing was left. Saria's voice echoed through his head. The harvesters came from beyond the black. We fought them for centuries. We built weapons that could destroy suns. But every time we killed them, they returned, hungrier, smarter. Ethan saw the moment her world fell, the golden city burning, her people screaming, the ocean turning black. Saria, wounded and alone, fled to a small blue planet, Earth, and buried herself beneath the ice to keep her light hidden. The vision faded, and Ethan collapsed to his knees. You've been running ever since. Saria's voice softened. Yes, until you found me. He looked up at her. Then let's finish what you started. She stared at him, her glowing eyes searching his face. You would help me fight them? I woke you, Ethan said. That makes this my fight too. Saria tilted her head slightly, almost smiling. You are fragile, human. But brave, Maria stepped forward. If you can stop them, use whatever you need. Use us. Saria turned away, staring at the shimmering horizon where faint dark shapes moved in the distance, shadows of the harvester fleet drawing closer. Your bodies cannot fight them, she said. But your world has energy, machines, systems, thoughts. I can link to them, but I need a bridge. A mind that can guide me through human code. Ethan understood immediately. You need me. Saria looked back at him. Yes, but if I connect with you, our minds will merge. You will see what I see. Feel what I feel. It may destroy your mind, Ethan smiled weakly. Then I guess I'll take that risk, Maria grabbed his arm. Ethan, no. You can't, he looked at her. If we don't stop them, there won't be a world to save. Saria stepped closer. Once we begin, you cannot break the link. Ethan nodded. I'm ready. She raised her hand and touched his chest. Light exploded. The world around them twisted, and Ethan felt his thoughts scatter like dust in the wind. Suddenly, he wasn't just himself anymore. He was inside her, inside Seria's mind. He could see the stars spinning around them, feel the energy of every particle, every atom of the earth below. He felt her pain, her strength, her loneliness. He understood now, she wasn't just alien. She was ancient. She had seen countless worlds rise and fall. Then a new sound filled his mind, the screams of the harvesters echoing from the dark sky. Seria's voice was fierce now. "Hold on to me, Ethan, we face them together." She raised both arms. Energy poured from her body into the heavens. The silver sky cracked open, revealing a field of darkness filled with monstrous shapes. Lightning of pure light struck upward, hitting the first harvester. It screamed, a sound like a collapsing world. Ethan's mind burned, but he didn't let go. His heart beat with hers. His thoughts became part of her light. Down on Earth, people across the planet looked to the night sky and saw it. A great blue shield forming around the world, glowing like an angel's wings. Maria fell to her knees, tears in her eyes. They're fighting back. Seria's voice roared like thunder. For every world they took, for every life they ended, this time they face humanity. And in that moment, the war for Earth truly began. The sky was no longer blue. From every part of the world, people looked up and saw it, the heavens painted with streaks of light and shadow. Giant shapes glided through the atmosphere, their wings stretching for miles. They looked like living storms, part metal, part creature, glowing with red veins. The harvesters had arrived, but the world was not unguarded anymore. Above the clouds, a second glow appeared, bright, calm, silver blue. It formed a vast shield that covered Earth like a second sky. Energy crackled along its edge, singing in a strange, beautiful tone that no human ear had ever heard before. It was Seria, and within her mind, now one with hers, was Ethan Cole. Ethan felt like he was both everywhere and nowhere. His body no longer existed in a single place. It was part of the network of light that wrapped around the planet. He could feel cities, oceans, mountains, the heartbeat of humanity pulsing through power grids, machines, and signals. Inside his head, Seria's voice spoke softly. "Hold the rhythm, Ethan. The planet's energy must flow together." He tried to breathe, though breath no longer mattered. "I'm trying. There's so much noise, so many people. Focus on the light, guide it. You are the bridge." Through the connection, Ethan saw everything. Missiles launching from submarines, fighter jets taking off, ships rising to meet the invaders. Nations that once fought each other were now united by fear. For the first time in history, all of Earth stood together, and Seria's light powered them all. She floated high above the stratosphere, her armor blazing like a star. Energy streamed from her hands into the defense networks below. Satellites came back online, glowing with strange alien power. Human weapons began to hum with blue fire. When the first harvester broke through the clouds, the sky exploded. The creature was enormous, larger than a city. Its mouth opened like a black hole, pulling in air, clouds, and lightning. But before it could reach the ground, a beam of light fired from orbit. Pure energy wrapped in human steel. The harvester screamed as the blast tore through its body, splitting its shadowed wings. It fell burning into the ocean, sending waves taller than buildings. Cheers echoed across military radios worldwide. Seria's voice trembled through the link. "That was your weapon, guided by my power. You see now? Together you are not weak." Ethan smiled inside the connection. "Then let's show them what humanity can do." But victory was not easy. For every creature they destroyed, two more appeared. They fell like black rain, crashing into deserts, forests, and cities. Whole regions went dark as the harvesters released storms of energy that swallowed everything in their path. In Beijing, buildings melted under crimson light. In New York, the skies turned red as ships tore through the clouds. In Antarctica, where it had all begun, the ice split open, revealing ancient tunnels where even older things waited. Ethan's thoughts grew heavy. He could feel billions of human lives in fear, pain, hope, flooding through him like waves. "Seria, I can't hold all of it," he shouted. Her voice was firm. "You must. Their strength feeds us. Their courage builds the shield. You are their heart," he focused. Every voice became one, a single heartbeat. Humanity stood together, fighting as one mind, one will. Seria raised her hands higher. Blue lightning burst across the sky. The shield expanded, becoming a blade of light that struck back at the harvesters. One by one, The dark ships fell, their bodies turning to ash. But the victory came at a cost. Each blast drained Seria's energy. Her armor flickered. Her glow dimmed. Ethan felt her pain, deep, sharp, ancient. "Seria," he called. "You're fading." Her voice was softer now. "It's the price. To protect your world, I must burn my core. My light cannot last forever." "No," Ethan said, his voice shaking. "There has to be another way." "There isn't." He felt her smile inside his thoughts. "But your people, they're different. When faced with death, they fight harder. You taught me that." Her body shone once more, brighter than before. She drew every last drop of power into her hands. Ethan felt his own mind begin to fracture, but he held on. "One last strike," she whispered. "For all the worlds they destroyed." She released it. A beam of silver light pierced the sky, cutting through the largest harvester, the leader, the core, slicing it in two. The explosion turned night into day. The sound of it could be heard around the planet. Every harvester screamed and vanished into dust. The sky cleared. Ethan fell into darkness. When he opened his eyes, he was lying on snow again. The world was quiet. The storm was gone. Maria ran to him crying, "Ethan, you're alive." He looked up at the calm sky. The stars glowed softly, and for a moment he thought he saw a faint silver light drifting among them. A shape like a woman's figure, shining and fading into the distance. He whispered, "Seria." And in the silence of the wind, he heard her voice one last time. "Live well, Ethan. The light is yours now. The war was over." But the legend of the woman beneath the ice was only beginning. The sky was quiet again. For the first time in days, the wind no longer carried the sound of war. The clouds were thin, the stars bright, and the moon hung low, calm and pure. The world was safe, but peace felt strange, almost unreal. Ethan Cole sat on the frozen ground near what was left of the Antarctic base. Snow covered the ruins like a white shroud. The machines were dead, the metal twisted, the tunnels collapsed. Yet in the middle of the broken ice, a faint glow remained, soft, silver, almost alive. Maria walked toward him, wrapped in a torn coat. Her eyes were red from crying. "The satellites show nothing," she said quietly. "No more ships, no more readings. The harvesters are gone." Ethan didn't answer. His gaze stayed fixed on the light shining faintly from the snow, the place where Seria had stood. Maria placed a hand on his shoulder. "She did it, Ethan. She saved us." He nodded slowly. "And she's gone because of it." The air was still. No sound, no movement, only the soft glow beneath the ice pulsing like a dying heartbeat. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. He stayed by the ruins alone, staring at the sky. Every star reminded him of her, the alien woman who had carried the light of 1,000 worlds. He remembered the first time he saw her eyes open. The fear, the power, the sadness behind her calm voice. She was never meant to wake, yet she did, why not because of him? And now, because of her, humanity was alive. He whispered to the wind, "I wish I could have said thank you." The wind didn't answer. But the snow around him shimmered faintly, as if something unseen had heard his voice. He closed his eyes, exhaustion pulling him into a dream. In his dream, he was standing in a place that wasn't Earth. The ground was glassy and bright, reflecting the stars above. The air was warm, filled with soft silver light. Seria stood before him, not as a being of armor and power, but as she had looked when she first woke from the ice. Simple, gentle, almost human. Her silver hair flowed softly and her eyes glowed like calm fire. Ethan's throat tightened. "You're alive?" She smiled faintly. "Not alive, but not gone either." He stepped closer. "Where are we?" "In the veil," she said softly. "The space between what is and what was. My energy became part of it when I burned my core. For a short time, I can speak to you through the echo you carry." He frowned. "Echo?" Seria pointed to his chest. A faint blue light pulsed beneath his shirt right above his heart. "When I linked with you, I left a piece of my light inside you," she explained. "It will keep you alive when the cold tries to take you. It will remind you of what we fought for." Ethan touched the glow, feeling warmth spread through his body. "Then you're still with me." She shook her head gently. "Only a memory now. My time is ending." He felt tears sting his eyes. "You can't leave again." "You don't have to," Seria smiled sadly. "You humans always believe you can hold the light forever. But light must move on, Ethan. It belongs to the next sunrise. He lowered his head. I don't want to forget you. You won't, she said. Every time you look at the stars, you'll remember. Every time your people choose courage over fear, I'll still be there. The dream began to fade. The light around her grew brighter, the world dissolving into silver mist. Ethan reached out. Saria! Her voice came one last time, soft and kind. Please, don't take the cloth off again. Some doors should stay closed, and then she was gone. Ethan woke up with a start. The snow had stopped falling. In front of him, something shimmered in the ice. The same silver cloth that once covered Saria in her capsule. It was untouched, folded perfectly, glowing faintly from within. He crawled closer, trembling. When his hand reached for it, the same whisper echoed in his head, gentle and familiar. Please, Enid, don't take the cloth off. He froze, tears filling his eyes. He smiled through them. Don't worry, he whispered. I won't. He lifted the cloth carefully and wrapped it around himself. The warmth that flowed through it was soft, peaceful, alive, like her presence still lingered inside. Maria appeared behind him. What is that? Ethan stood slowly, looking at the stars. A promise, he said quietly, and a reminder that light never really dies. He turned his eyes to the night sky. There, and faintly, a small silver star blinked among the others, brighter than all the rest. He smiled. Goodbye, Saria. The wind moved gently through the ruins, carrying her voice one last time, almost too soft to hear. Goodbye, human. And as dawn broke across the frozen world, the light returned. Brighter, stronger, and eternal.